Hey guys, welcome back to my colourful country life. It is that time of the month again, time for my October completed pages, and wow, what a productive month I've actually had. I did manage to complete 9 pages as well as work on one of my whips, and honestly I'm really not sure how I pulled that off because October has been chaotic to say the least. I will pop some timestamps in the video description if you do want to jump straight to the completed pages, but between summer sports starting up again, my son's driving lessons, both kids deep in their end of year exams, my weeknights have gotten a whole heap busier. And since we don't live anywhere near town, there's been plenty of travel time on top of that as well. I also ended up in hospital earlier this month. I am perfectly fine now. I do have a heart issue and I was getting some strange symptoms, so I called ahead and the hospital did tell me to come in. Luckily they had a doctor on duty that day, which isn't always the case in regional hospitals. We don't actually have a full-time doctor here on staff. So the timing did work out well, I guess you could say. And like I said, everything is all good now. But in between all of that, I have also been living my best Princess Aurora life. I did mention before in another video that I have had a wombat visiting me at our back door. He is huge, biggest one I've ever seen. So I have now since named him Hugo, and we have Eddie the echidna. He has been spotted amongst the fruit trees once again, and I've also been getting chased by a hare. My husband said only I could get chased by something cute and cuddly, but trust me, this is not cute and cuddly. I did think it was at first. I stopped at the gate to take a photo because he was so big, and as I'm standing there thinking, oh, how cute, he ran at me. He ran at me. Now, every time he sees me, he runs at me. So I'm thinking maybe there might be some babies nearby because they are animals of prey. They do tend to run when they see humans, but this one is running at me instead of away from me. It is also magpie swooping season here in Australia, and those birds are ruthless. I have one that is puffing herself up and guarding my mailbox like it's her throne. So between dodging magpies and hares and always watching for snakes, simply checking the mail has become a real adventure for me this month. Now, speaking of snakes, I also had one at the front door the other week. I was in the shower when I heard Lexi calling out. I flew out of that shower and down the stairs so fast. Thankfully, all the dogs were inside the house. I have already seen more snakes this season than I did the entirety of last summer. And it is still cold enough that my fireplace is still on. It actually sleeted yesterday. So I don't know what is happening, but I have become the animal whisperer by the looks of things. So that is my life at the moment, a little chaotic. And on that note, let's move all this out of the way and we can get started. Okay, our first book is Kerby Rosanes' 10-year celebration, and it honestly feels like I coloured this a lifetime ago now. So I worked on the double page gatefold pull out here in the back of the UK edition. Now, if you have the US edition, that's the one with the colourful front cover. Keep in mind the pages are laid out differently. The US version does have this illustration in it, but it's not a pull-out and it's not even at the back of the book. I think it's somewhere closer to the front. So there is a full flip through and review of this book on my channel, and this page is also available as a 2-part colour along. As usual, I will link everything I mentioned today either down below or in the eye above. And I could not resist colouring this page, not only because it is a brand new exclusive illustration to this book, but because it symbolises all of Kerby's books from the past decade. It really felt like the perfect way to celebrate 10 years of Kerby's wonderful imagination. It's like all of his thoughts are just exploding out of this book from the page into the galaxy. So for the background, I went with a night sky or galaxy kind of look, which was an easy choice because it is more of a plain background. With so much happening on the page, I did decide not to colour every little doodle and image realistically and individually because it would have taken forever, and the page probably would have lost cohesion. So instead I split the image into 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hang on. 1, 2, 3. Come around this way. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, 9 different rainbow sections. So I think that made it a little bit more unified. It definitely made it a lot quicker to color as well. So for the background, I based it with my dough and Inktense, and then I layered some Prismacolors over the top to create a smooth gradient without eating up my pencil. So that base layer helped cover some of the white paper, covered up some of the tooth without using up all of my Prismas instead. I also added gold and sparkle shimmer spray, plus a little acrylic paint splatter as well for more stars. Their little illustrations and doodles themselves were coloured with Prismacolors. And then I used my white Toolyart paint pen just to break up some of the heavier colour areas. So I've just added a few little highlights here and there. And I will lift that up closer so you can see hopefully some of that sparkle in the background. I'll lift it really close. That might be a bit too close, Kaz. Hopefully that is showing. My camera is higher than my head, so I can't really see what's happening right now. But yeah, that is Kerby's 10-year celebration. Next up is Magical Dawn by Hanna Karlzon, and I have not shown you this page yet, so this is kind of a little bit of a sneak peek. And I have coloured this hourglass page. There is actually no coloured pencil at all on this page. This page was purely a testing and experimenting page. There is no colour along, there is no review, but I do have something related coming up very soon on Instagram and possibly on Shorts or my community tab here on YouTube as well. So keep your eye out for that. Now, for the background, I used watercolour paints. And those white dots you can see were created using masking fluid. So I sprinkled it on before painting the background. And once everything was dry, I removed it and it left those beautiful star-like spots. I have used this technique before and I do find it really effective. It is kind of a little bit quicker and less messier than sprinkling with white paint as well. So when I am masking up the other elements of the page, I do then sprinkle on the masking fluid as well. And when you're doing that, you can actually remove it from areas where it's landed that you don't want it before you start colouring as well, which is helpful because when you're sprinkling with the white paint, you can't really remove it once you've added it. So I also added some extra details with silver and gold metallic pens. So I've added in some extra stars and I've used those pens on some of the details of our hourglass as well. For these stars, I used my Jelly Roll Metallics, and for the sand, I used watercolor markers. So this was actually my first time using this technique. I say first time using this technique, I was making it up as I went along. It just happened to work out well. Yeah, but it was my first time attempting to use just watercolor markers and not add any colored pencils on top. And I do love how it turned out. And I even used the markers for the top and base of the hourglass as well. There's also some white pen used for highlights and to lighten some of these black lines as well. This page was actually really quick and really fun to color. I think I might try adapting this watercolor marker technique for a bokeh effect, possibly for my background series coming up soon. I think it's going to work brilliantly to create that blurry effect you need for a bokeh background. That's an idea. Let me know if you'd like to see that. Yeah, so that is Magical Dawn by Hanna Karlzon. Next up, I have Lulu's House of Wonder by Lulu Mayo, which is my new favorite Lulu Mayo book. It is so cute and it may or may not be shortlisted as a potential project book for next year. So make sure you have your notifications turned on, as there will be a video coming on that topic very soon. Now, the page I coloured this month was this little cute little witch. She's so adorable. And this book is single-sided, so I did base the entire page with my Ohuhu alcohol markers. and then I layered my Prismacolors on top. I wanted a bright, light, cheerful, fun palette, and I think it worked really well. I did consider adding a black background or like a soft pastel color, like a light pink, blue, green, onto the background, but I decided it popped beautifully against the white. So in the end, I left it alone. I did also add some sparkle with my Kindy Glitz here, which is my newest obsession. I'll show you that closely in a moment. I also used the Ohuhu glitter markers, and I added some glossy accents onto all of the eyes. And lastly, some Tulia paint pen for some fun highlights as well. And if you haven't seen inside this book yet, it is featured in my colouring book haul from, was it last week or the week before? It's not far down in the videos on my channel if you have a look there. And there is also a colour along for this page up on my channel too. So hopefully the first of many colour alongs from this book. Let me lift it up for you and try to capture that Kindy Glitz down there, the glossy accents. Now that's always pretty easy to pick up on camera. And then the Ohuhu glitter pens. You can see the pink on the bow. Yeah. It looks like I've also used some sort of gold metallic pen there too. I wonder what that might have been. My gold Signo, I think. It'll be in the video. So that is Lulu's House of Wonder. While we're looking at cute and spooky pages, let's move on to the Weird and Wonderful colouring book by Emma Peters, also known as Stormseyedesign. There is a full flip through of this book up on my channel if you would like to see all of the adorable pages that are inside. Now, from the moment I first flipped through this book, I did fall in love with this zombie page, and I'm so glad I was able to get it coloured this month. Now, I was informed by Em that this guy's name is Zach, and honestly, that name just suits him to a T. He is so cute. Oh, and since the pages are single-sided, as you can see, I keep thinking I'll pick up 2 pages. The pages are really thick. Yes, since it is single-sided, I did base everything with Ohuhu alcohol markers, and then I went over the top with my Prismacolors to add some depth. The background of both panels was coloured with Neocolor 2s, and I have to say, this paper is amazing. Like I said, it's quite thick. It takes water mediums beautifully, barely any wrinkling at all, as you can see. What else? So I also added in some subtle sunbeams shining down here using my white Prismacolor pencil. I then used my Tulia paint pens to cover some black lines, to add in some highlights, and also to create these little grass strokes down the bottom as well near the toadstools. There is some glossy accent on Zach's eyes, and I've got Kindy Glitz on the butterfly wings for a pretty sparkle. And I have to lift this up to show you, because who doesn't love a good sparkle? So first of all, you can see the glossy accents there on his eyes, and then can you see the sparkle from that Kindy Glitz? Oh, I hope that's catching. It's just so shiny in real life. It's so pretty. So this page is so super cute. And there is a colour along up on the channel for this page if you would like to follow along. And you can find purchase information for this book as well in my flip through and review. It's in the video description for this book if anyone is on the lookout for that. So that is the Weird and Wonderful colouring book by Emma Peters, or Stormseyedesign. Next up we have Spooky by Sara Szewcyzk, and this is another cute and spooky book. There are actually quite a few pages I wanted to colour from this book this month, but I did end up choosing the Owl Mage page. And for the background, I used my Distress inks, and then I finished it off with my beloved Kaisercraft Shimmer Spray in gold. My bottle is nearly empty, so the spray is not as fine as usual. It's definitely time, I think, to purchase a refill, but I think it just kind of adds to it. Let me lift it up for a sec, and you can see, if you look here, hopefully it's catching, that it's not as fine. Can you see down the bottom there? Yeah. Not as fine a mist as what I could normally get with a newer bottle. So yeah, like I said, definitely time to get a refill, I think. And I did colour the rest of the page using my Derwent Chroma Flow pencils, which I am absolutely loving right now. They are so creamy and they blend so beautifully. If you'd like to see more colour alongs using the Chroma Flows, let me know in the comments and I will see what I can do. This was really fun to colour. Also, quick update, the Chroma Flow colour combo series is almost complete. I just need to finish off the red combinations, and that's been almost as tricky as the pinks were, honestly. Their range could definitely use a few extra reds and a few extra pinks. But after that, I think we've got the metal and the skin tone combos to finish. And then it's on to Inktense. And after the Inktense, we will be choosing, or during the Inktense, we will choose our next pencil set. So I can get started on that when the Inktense is finished as well. So keep an eye out on the channel for some polls on our next pencil set. Back to the page. So I use my Toolie Art paint pens for highlights. Naturally, they appear on pretty much every page I colour. And we covered some black lines with them as well. Also, the Kindy Glitz made another appearance this month on the bug's wings, and also the centre of these flowers down here as well. There's a little bit of Winkestella on the claws of the Owl Mage as well. And this was a new to me book, so it was lovely to get my first page completed. There is a colour along on the channel for this one as well, and there's also a flip through of this book in my most recent haul video too. I'll lift that up again just so you can see the background sparkle as well as the Kindy Glitz on the bug wings. And down here we've got the Kindy Glitz, and we've also got I was gonna say glossy accents. What is it? Jelly Roll Glaze. Jelly Roll Glaze on Owl Mage's eyes and also the bug's eyes. Yeah, so that is my completed page from Spooky for this month. Next up, I have Halloween by Hanna Karlzon, which is also a new addition to my collection. I am so happy I managed to get a page completed during the spooky month, so this does not sit uncoloured until next October. And I ended up colouring the wreath page, which I think is so super cute. I love giving spooky pages a bright, playful twist. So I used a purple, orange and green palette combination. It is one of my favorite Halloween color palettes, actually. I think the colors just look really great together. And for the background, I used Distress Inks again. And that vibrant green worked perfectly with this page, I think. I did also spray over it with some shimmer mist in Sparkle, and I will try to capture that sparkle on camera in a moment, but I actually did capture it quite well by happenstance on another video that I was just popping up on my Instagram stories. So I might pop up that clip in the video if the video isn't picking up the sparkle today, because it's the closest I got to actually being able to show how sparkly it is in real life. Then I added some details with my gold Signo. We've added in some details with Toolie Art paint pens, and that's it really. Other than the background, the sparkle in the background, there's no real sparkle on this page actually. And of course there is a colour along for this page up on my channel too. So let's see if we can capture some of that sparkle. I love this spray so much. This is one of my must-haves. Well, it's not really a must-have, but if you like to put embellishments on your pages, this is so much fun. I use it every month without fail. I don't know how well, if at all, that is capturing my sparkle. So when I edit this video, I'll have a look, and if that didn't capture it well, I will pop up a video here so you can see what it actually looked like close up. So that is Halloween, the new book from Hanna Karlzon. Now let's take a look at the first of our project books for this month, and that is Romantic Country, The Second Tale by Eriy. and I coloured what I like to call the Witch's Cottage, though in the back of the book it's actually called the Mysterious Plants page, but this is it here. Now this page gave me a little trouble, a lot of trouble actually. The background is Distress ink and I masked the page before applying it with my masking fluid. Unfortunately, when I removed the masking fluid, the page did tear in several places, and this is the second time I've used masking fluid in this book and the second time it has ripped the paper in this book. So I'm starting to think it's actually the paper itself, because I don't have that issue with any of my other books. I have had a few questions actually about masking fluid, so if you are curious about how I use the product and what products I use, I do have a tutorial on my beginners playlist and I will tag that up here if you want to go check that out. But thankfully I was able to repair the tearing, so I think it is barely noticeable now. I mean, I know where it is, but despite the hiccup, I actually love how this page turned out. My colour palette evolved as I worked, which does happen to me more often than you'd think actually. I did initially plan for bright reds and oranges for the florals, but ended up focusing on shades of purple and blue, which gave it a lovely balanced, cohesive feel, I think. I also added a moon into the sky, keeping my darker Distress ink shades further away, and that was to create a glowing effect coming off the moon. Everything else was coloured with Prismacolor pencils, and I used Tooly Art paint pens in various colours actually to soften black lines, plus a little blue sparkle pop pen to add a little bit of shimmer on some of these plants. I finished it off with some sheer shimmer spray on the background. I'll lift that up. There are some white acrylic paint splatters as well, for some stars. And I did use some soft white pastel to create some mist near the moon. It is very subtle. And that's it. So you can find this colour along up on the channel, and it's under my playlist as well for Romantic Country, the Second Tale. And all the pages I've coloured in this book so far you will find up there too, because it is one of our project books. So there's quite a few pages we've done so far this year, and 2 more months to go with this as one of our project books. So that's Romantic Country, the Second Tale. Our second project book on the channel is Mythomorphia by Kerby Rosanes, and this month I coloured the Werewolf double page spread. I am so happy with the final result, but I have to admit I did start to feel a little bored with this page probably halfway through. It's a big spread and it has a very limited colour palette, so progress felt very slow at times, even though it was actually quite quick to colour. I think because it was such a limited colour palette, that's what was losing my interest. I like to mix and match these bright, bold, vibrant colours. So I think that was what my issue was. But it was actually really satisfying to see it all come together in the end, and I love the final result, like I said. So I did use Neocolor 2s for the background, keeping the lighter tones around the moon to create a glow similar to what I mentioned I did in Romantic Country, and the darker tones towards the edges. So some of the other elements like the werewolf were also based with Neocolors, before layering Prismacolors over the top of that. So for highlights and details, I used a few Tooly Art paint pans, which really helped add that icy glow to our werewolf as well. But I also used them on the trees and stuff and around the moon. I did create a faint mist effect around the moon using white soft pastel, which you can kind of see going across the branches here of the tree, but it is very subtle. For the venom, so I decided this was not blood dripping out of his mouth and off his claws, it was venom. So for that, I layered blue sparkle pop pen and Kindy Glitz to add double sparkle, which it actually works really well. I'll show you that in a minute a bit closer up. But I also sprayed the background with sheer shimmer spray, which gives it that gorgeous shine when it catches the light again. So let me lift it up. Let me show you closer and try to capture that shine, and also the claws there with the sparkle pop pen and the Kindy Glitz. And there as well. It just had such a pretty effect. So the Kindy Glitz takes on the colour of whatever's underneath it. And underneath was that blue sparkle pop. So that was really fun. I think that's it. Just double checking I didn't miss anything. No, that's it. So that was Mythomorphia for this month. And of course you can find this up on the channel as a 2-part colour along. And now into our full book colour alongs. I did start a double page spread in Rooms of Wonder by Johanna Basford this month, which I will finish in November. Now for our full book colour alongs, that just means every single page in this book will be coloured as a colour along up on the channel, and there is a playlist where you can find everything that has been completed so far, which is actually like quite a lot. We are getting really close. So I think this book will be finished in 2026 for sure. So this is the page that I did in October, and this is the page I want to do for November. So this is a colour along up on the channel. Like I was saying, they all are colour alongs up on the channel, but I am having a few upload issues with the wild weather we're having at the moment. Like I said earlier, it was sleeting yesterday. We've had crazy winds. I was driving back from the dentist and the winds was so strong. I could feel my car like trying to control it as we were coming down the mountain. It was crazy. Yeah, so the weather's been quite wild, and the internet is playing up because of it. So if the video isn't up already, it will be in a day or two after you're seeing this one. They should be up around the same time. So I really did debate what colours to use for the background on these pages, as I did want both backgrounds to match. I did consider going super spooky with the background. I mentioned those plans in my October plans videos. I was tossing up between making it quite dark and bold, adding in some cobwebs and making it really creepy and spooky. But at the same time, I didn't want that look for this half. So I tossed up the thought of a more creamy brown background with some exposed brickwork or cracks in the wall added in as well. But in the end, I pictured these as magical shelves in a good witch's home, filled with healing potions and charms. So I went with bright, vibrant colours instead. And I used around 5 main colour combos, I think, off the top of my head. And I just repeated them throughout the page and then balanced them out with some neutral brown tones as well. The background was done with Distress Inks again. They have had quite the workout this month. Initially, I wasn't quite happy with how it looked. It wasn't what I had imagined for this page. And in the end, I ended up leaving it and going to bed. And you'll actually notice because I went to bed that night and then the next day I changed my nail colour. And then when I came to colour that night, so you'll see the nail colour change in that video. But yeah, when I came back to it the next night and I started adding in these bright, bold colour combinations, it did start coming together. The colour palette just really complemented that background. And then when it was all completed, I can actually say the finished page does now look just how I pictured it in my head. It just took a minute for everything to come together for me to realise I was actually on the right track and that my plans were bringing me to where I wanted them to be. So in November, like I said, we will finish the other half of the shelves page and hopefully make a start on a few more pages in this book too. Now, I didn't get to colour in dark fairy tales this month, which, considering my October plans list, I think I did pretty good. I only missed that one book. I'm going to count that as great planning on my part. I coloured everything except one book that I had planned to. Speaking of planning, I did film a video in October all about my adult colouring planning and organisation system, which you might find really helpful. If you haven't seen it yet, I will tag that either above or down in the video description too. I did, however, work on one of my whips. So that is from Summer Nights by Hanna Karlzon, and it is the butterfly page. So the bokeh background on this page was part of my background series using soft pastels. And we created, I think it was 4 different backgrounds. So we've got 4 different whips in this book. I have been colouring the rest of this page off camera when I have some spare time. Sometimes I have time where I want to colour but I don't have enough time to film, so I just want to colour something for myself. So this is what I was working on this month. I am nearly finished with all of my leaves. For the flowers, I'm thinking orange and red kind of tones with some contrasting colours on the butterfly just to make it pop out. So fingers crossed this one should be completed by the end of November. I'll keep colouring along with that in my spare time. So since we're talking completed pages, it is almost time for my annual every page I've ever coloured video. I have done it a few different ways in the past. So I've done one huge video that runs for usually a couple of hours, and I've also done one where I've broken it up into smaller parts, either by artist or theme. Let me know down in the comments which you prefer if you watch these type of videos. Do you prefer one long video you can enjoy at your own pace, which will probably be a couple of hours long, or multiple shorter videos, either by artist or book type? That's usually going to be around 6 or 7. It's been way too much time with teenagers. Yeah, so it'll be in multiple parts. Yeah, do you want multiple parts by artist or theme, or do you want one big long video that you can sit and watch whenever you feel like it? The shorter videos probably one every couple of days or something like that. So that is everything I have to show you for October. I would love to know which page was your favorite this month. No, I can't choose. Honestly, I can't choose my own favorite this month. The Kerby Rosanes 10-year celebration. I love that because we were celebrating Kerby. The Magical Dawn page I love because I was trying out new techniques. Then there was a whole bunch of cute and spooky colouring that was really fun as well. I really can't pick. I do really love the page from Rooms of Wonder, but is it my favourite? Maybe I would go with Halloween. I don't know. It's too hard. Too hard to choose this month. So on that note, keep an eye out for my November plans video. It will be coming up on the channel very soon. I hope everybody is well, and I will see you all in the next video. Happy colouring, take care, and bye for now.